Today I have the SP404-MK2 and the Akai MPC Live 2 on the table, and I want to talk about the future of the SP platform, and I'm going to use the MPC as a comparison. Now, it doesn't necessarily need to be the Live 2, but this is the only modern MPC that I own, and they all kind of share this similar platform in terms of them having the big screen that kind of runs everything on the device. And obviously with the SPs, this is the only one we have in the range, and this has its own platform too, with the smaller screen, the buttons around the side, etc. So I'm going to use these in the same conversation and talk about why I think the SP in a way is kind of doomed over the next few years. Just before I start this video, guys, don't forget to check out all the links in the description below. The first 2 months of this year have been particularly slow for me, so it really does help if you could go into the description, check out some of the links and see how you can support me here. If you want to buy this skin, for example, for your SP404-MK2, that's available on SPVIDZ.com with international shipping. I've also got downloadable drum packs and merch there. All of those things help me run the channel and generally live from day to day, so I'd appreciate it if you could check out any of those links. So let's get into the topic of this video. First of all, I want to talk about the SP404-MK2. Now, when this first came out, there were a lot of problems with this device, and Roland managed to address that by bringing out a series of updates. And in particular, I want to talk about update 3.0 because I can remember this one specific thing inside that update, which was pattern MFX automation. So we were able to automate MFX over the top of patterns, which is a really cool feature, but I have to make a confession, I have never used that area, and it's because of this problem which I think the SP404-MK2 is having and is going to continue to happen in the future as well. There are too many key combinations now, and I only have to look at the responses in my videos that I put out about shortcuts on this device to see that a lot of the community feels the same way. So when I talk about the effects automation, I think it was a 3-key combination in order to get in and out of it. I just can't remember what it is, and I've never felt like I want to go and find out what it is again, because it's just right on the edge now of being too many and just being impossible to remember them all. So it's a shame, but that is one of the reasons why I've never really dug into that feature. It's hard enough remembering day-to-day shortcuts without adding more and more on top, and that is the crux of the problem of what I'm getting to with this video. The more updates that ship with this device, that come to this device, I think it's going to get harder and harder to use, and are actually more frustrating as well. And that's why I've got the MPC on the table, because I think what Akai have done with this platform, and that applies to all of the MPCs, not just the Live 2, I think it's actually a stroke of genius. Basically, the main thing that they've done, which is different to the SP, is just add a much bigger and usable screen. Now, these devices, I think, are a lot more similar than meets the eye. I think this has got a lot of features that are available on the MPC platform, but the screen on the SP just really lets it down because it's kind of a blocker for new updates to come along. Now, we're seeing new updates coming on the MPC platform. For example, stem separation is going to arrive in March. You just know that they're going to be able to integrate that pretty easily. Now, I would love to see stem separation on the SP404-MK2, but is it going to be able to be added in a way which is graceful, which is fun to use, which is easy to use? I really have my doubts about that, and I can only see this gulf in features getting bigger and bigger as more features come out, as new technologies come out. The MPC platform seems to be able to handle it pretty easily, largely thanks to the screen, and the SP404-MK2 isn't going to be able to onboard these new features because we can't be having loads and loads more key combinations. So the screen, I think, is the crux of the problem. Because we don't have that real estate, that visual real estate, we're having to learn more and more key combinations. Roland are having to come up with more and more key combinations in order to accommodate these new updates that come in. So even things like side chaining, I mean, A, why don't we have that anyway? And B, if we did end up getting that, is it going to be integrated in a way which is easy to use? I really don't know. And the same goes for any sort of future updates. I really worry about how they're going to be integrated into the SP404 Mark II. So I think the SP404 Mark II has backed itself into a bit of an odd corner, because I talked about the updates earlier that have been shipped. That's kind of set a precedent with this device, and I think in a way Roland have almost written their own obituary by doing that, because as a community now we're kind of asking what's happened with the updates. Why aren't we getting more updates? We want to see more features and new things come to this device. But there is a feeling from me, and I think from the community as well, from your comments, that if we keep getting more and more features, it's going to get more and more complicated to use. So there's no real way that the SP404 Mark II can win moving forward. It either stays as it is and gets a few bugs tidied up, maybe a couple of new effects, and we settle for that. And I think if that happens, the device will age very quickly, and the gulf between these two devices, or these two platforms I should say, is going to be exponentially wider the longer that time goes on. And then secondly, what could happen is we see loads of updates come to this platform, have a ridiculous amount of key combinations, and it just makes the overall beat making experience a little bit unsavory. So that's, generally speaking, what I'm trying to get at with this video. I worry for the future of the SP404 Mark II. I worry about the shelf life, because it's going to get completely overshadowed by products like the MPC Live 2. And the only solution I can really think to this, and after my thoughts over the past few days about this, is that they're going to have to introduce a new device at some point. And unfortunately, it's going to have to embrace the bigger screen. Now, I know a lot of you guys out there enjoy the SP experience because of its simplicity, because it's stripped back, but that doesn't seem to be what Roland were trying to do with this device. They seemed to want the best of both worlds. They wanted that simplicity, but they wanted it to be feature rich as well. They had to make it feature rich to compete with other platforms like this, and now it's kind of stuck because it can't keep bringing new features to it. So if there was an SP404 Mark III, I would love to see it integrate a screen similar to the Akai platform now, or the MPC platform. I think the time has come where it just unfortunately has to happen to be able to have a product that can onboard new effects, new features easily, and we could probably maintain the majority of this form factor and just have a much bigger screen at the top, replace some of these buttons and have those integrated into the screen instead. And then we have a platform where new updates can come to it easily and we can get excited about them. It really is going to be interesting to see which way Roland take this device. Are they going to just make a few more changes and leave it like that and kind of accept that it's going to have quite a short shelf life? Are they going to keep throwing updates at this and it's going to become this horrible, complicated mess of a device to use with ridiculous shortcuts? Or maybe they just hold on, bring out a new product in a few years that really closes the gap between these two devices, something probably quite similar to the MPC One, I think. I'd love to know your thoughts about this, guys. What do you think about the future of this device and onboarding new updates and technologies? Do you share the same envy as me with the MPC platform, and would you like to see a new device from Roland, maybe with a bigger screen but a similar form factor? Lots of questions that I'm asking here, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on the topic below, so make sure you leave a comment. Don't forget to visit the shop like I mentioned earlier in the video, and I want to say another shout out to my members as well. Thanks for all the monthly support. I will be back with another video very, very soon.